Let's talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Now,
I don't get me wrong. This movie isn't complacent. It does a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
exactly, like, because I know me and you, we had a good talk last night on the phone, and we said it had great moments, but it had a lot more scratch your head moments.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? So let me propose this. Would you suggest someone going and watch this movie?
I would, because I think even though a lot of things ended how we didn't care for them to end, I think it's still a big part of the Star Wars cinematic universe. And I think it has its moments where I'm like, you have to see this part I mean, it's a great experience. But and if people like I phrased it like this, like, oh, what did you think of it? I was like, good, not great, good.
Not Force Awakens.
And I literally said that to my cousin. He's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, "It's not the Force. It didn't have the Force Awakens feel that I had."
I didn't cry.
Yeah,
I can cry at everything.
and that's how I look at it. I was like, "It's not the Force Awakens, and it's good, not great." I mean, are we going to go into?
Let's give the non-spoilery side of it, and then we'll like tap our head and all that good stuff, and then we'll do some spoilers, light spoilers, but no spoilers right this second.
Yeah.
Okay. Like for me, I thought the pacing was just like kind of all over the place.
Like there'd be moments when it was, I mean, slow, and you're like, okay, it's like, why is this? And then all of a sudden, like you're like, what's this? What's that? What's that? You know?
Yeah. It's like going through a bookstore, and then like halfway through the bookstore, like it is.
You just lost it.
I just lost it, but
it turns into the floor is lava, and you're running around.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, it was a lot of places all over the place. I think a lot of the stories that were being told could have been like side stories, like side mentions.
Yeah.
But we've been introduced to all of these characters, and everybody's important. They should have took a note or a page out of Game of Thrones book and learn how to deal with multiple characters and how to tell their stories. Not the recent season where they speed up time and do whatever they want, but I'm talking about when like George R. R. Martin, they were still following his book.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. It felt like we were just kind of jumping here and there, here and there, here and there, just to try to hit everybody's stuff. Poe Dameron's story, like that was such a waste of time.
Because like when you have Poe Dameron from The Force Awakens, you were like, this guy is going to be freaking amazing.
Yeah,
and
he was actually not supposed to be alive. Like he was supposed to die.
But everybody liked him so much, or what?
Like they kept him on for, I can't remember why. I think they
That's
just liked
weird.
him as an actor or whatever, and they kept him on.
I mean, you do kind of get that feel, like in the
like
second,
in this movie,
yeah.
definitely, like, there was no writing for him.
Like, I mean, they had to. I mean, I felt like he was forced in at a few points. Like you said, his story really didn't matter. Like, I mean, he wasn't going to be the commander of anything. Like, I mean, he was just one of the. I felt like one of the many throwaway characters that we've had in this, and a lot of them should not have been throwaway characters.
Yeah, and that's the trouble with it is that, Oscar Isaac did a really good job. He is a good actor.
Yeah, I loved him as Poe Dameron, but there was parts where he was a bit much.
But it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And Laura Dern being in there as like the Admiral, whatever her name was, I don't remember.
Purple hair?
Yeah, purple hair girl. Like
purple hair?
Not spoilers. It didn't work. Like what we had talked about when we get into spoilers, that's should have been the way it happened.
Now, we were introduced to a new character.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Rose?
Like setting her up when you see her touching the medallion that her and her sister share or whatever had, the same one. I'm like, okay, I know who this is. I know why she's crying. All of this. The setup was good. The rest of it, it kind of felt like she was just another sob story. She was like something put into the movie to like pull at the heartstrings.
I kind of I liked her spunk.
Yeah.
Like I liked how the character was written, but there was like, she was thrown in there to
She
be.
cried too much.
Yeah, like when you see her go to that the non-spoiler version, the planet, and she's seeing everything.
The CGI planet.
Yeah.
What happened to practical effects?
But like you see a lot of them. Like I felt like a Hallmark movie at some points where there's so many emotional moments with her. But like overall, I think she was a decent add-in. I liked the character, but I just didn't like how they used her. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And like her and Finn's story, it was like there were so many missteps here. Like there were so many things that could have been really cool, but it was just kind of like, whatever. Like, and when we get to the spoilers part, I'll go more into that.
Their story could have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
So much cooler if what we talked about last night would have actually happened.
Yeah.
Now, what were your thoughts on like forced humor?
Oh man,
I know there's been a lot of that brought up.
The forced humor in this, like the Last Jedi, does it so much that is like, I'll use this. When I think a joke is really funny, and I say it. And I say it again.
Yep.
And I say it again. And I say it again.
They zacked us.
They zacked us. Like, I can admit how I do jokes.
Oh, yeah.
But like it was just all the time. And like one of my students even said this, like when Rey gives the lightsaber, what Luke does after that, it's like, we have waited for 2 years. That is a slap in the face just for a little slapstick joke.
And that I know that pissed a lot of people off because it irked me. Like people, I guess they're not. I guess understand. I'm not saying people are dumb or not like that, but I guess they don't understand like how that could have been set up to be a super cool moment.
Yeah.
But like everybody was like dying laughing, and like I'm like, why are y'all laughing? I was like, that right there started off the movie poorly for me. I was like, that sucked.
Like it felt like Rian Johnson. I don't remember if he wrote this or not, but it felt like they were trying to make Luke as close to Yoda and like his humor, like at the very beginning, but like Luke was kind of a little bit all over the place where he was like this curmudgeon, and then he was this comedic person. Then he was this curmudgeon, then he was like, it was just like, he was like a fish just out of water. I? Yeah. And I'm like, no, Luke is not that. Like, I know what Luke is. And like, as the movie went on, he became more of the Luke that he should be. At the very beginning, it was like, which one am I getting here?
Yeah. And that wasn't right for this movie.
Now, with let's see who I want to talk about before we get into the spoilery stuff. I think Kylo Ren's story arc
Adam
was great.
Driver.
Yeah.
I mean, he was my favorite part of this entire movie.
Yeah.
Like I loved how his story took we were thinking, I'm like, oh, could he be turned to the light side?
Yeah.
And I mean, this kind of put a
definitive answer on it. But like his story, like it was done really well. On the other side of that coin, I think Rey suffered the most in this movie.
It took a step back from the first one.
Like I was just kind of like, all right, like I don't feel as Rey is as strong of a character as she was in the first movie. And that was the biggest thing that we were, kind of like touting about the movie is like, man, they've got a strong female character that, just is a really good embodiment of, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. But now it's like, it's kind of like the same old. Like there wasn't really much development for her. So for me, I suggest people go watch this. I don't hate the movie. I'm not in love with the movie. Like we've said, there are some really cool parts, and we're going to start talking about those here in just a second. So if you haven't watched the movie, you can tune out after this.
Do that.
But there are other parts that really take away from what this movie could have been. And that's where, to me, I think it falls short compared to
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens, and even Rogue One. Like, Rogue One was a really good movie.
You said it best last night. This is as close to the Phantom Menace as we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
And because Jar Jar was the comedic, like, that one had a lot of forced humor with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi is our Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. And, you know, like, they fired the directors of the Han Solo movie. I can't even remember what the tagline is anymore, but Han Solo something stupid tagline because it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
They fired them for making it very comedic. If that was very comedic, Lord, I would have hated to see that movie.
But you got to think, Han, Lando, and Chewie, that one, comedic could work for them. Yes, they have their very serious moments, but, you know, they also have their comedic moments. But, like, if they got fired and then you give us this, that must have been, like, they had the boom in that movie.
Yeah, and like they had like the
movie.
flowers squirting water out and everything. Yeah, like the Three Stooges are on set. So for me, it's still worth going to watch. It is a Star Wars movie, of course. The cinematography is great. The graphics are great. I think they use CG too much.
Yep.
In a lot of places, that's one of my bigger, like the forced humor and the CGI that's, you know, just forced down our throats. A lot of it reminded me of prequels era Star Wars. So I'm hoping that with J.J. Abrams coming on board for the 9th one, that we'll right the ship and we'll finish this trilogy out with the right thing. What scares me is that Rian Johnson has his own trilogy. Like, I wish J.J. would have had this whole trilogy for himself.
And because I think J.J. did it right on Force Awakens. He had us crying at moments and then, you know, loving others.
Yeah, and laughing in the right places.
Yeah. But, I mean, this one just kind of had us all over the place and not with, like, good... Like, there was some really awesome parts, don't get me wrong. But they had us scratching our head more than anything.
All right, so there is our spoiler-free review or impressions. We don't do... Yeah, we do impressions here. We're here to impress you of The Last Jedi. I almost said The Force Awakens.
Are you ready for this?
All right, here we go. Here's spoiler time. Robbie's going to touch his head now. All right. Frickin' Leia flying around like she's frickin' Superman.
So frickin' dumb.
I'm like, what the crap is this? Like, seriously, what is that? What is that?
You had the best way that you could have sent Carrie Fisher off.
Like, it was an emotional moment. Like, I'm like, they're about to do this.
Like, Waterworks were getting ready for me. Like, I was getting ready. Like, I was like, this could be the last time we see Leia.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden she, I guess, like a little shimmer type thing. Like, I guess putting a force shield around her or whatever. Or that could have just been crystallization on her face. But then
she was like freezing in the vacuum, and then she just like flew around like she's a freaking Green Lantern.
And I'm like, come on, guys. It's like that could have been the perfect setup because you even said, you know, write it a little differently where Luke does survive.
Yeah, like Luke lives. Leia's like, I understand why they probably kept her in because she had more scenes. You know, I understand that, but you're not going to have her in episode 9. I'm sorry, like that is the truth. You've decided not to do the whole CG face thing and all of that, which I applaud y'all for.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate that not happening, but this was the perfect way to send her off.
Now we have to figure out
what is she going to do?
Are you just not going to have her in the film at all?
Yeah.
Like, because she had nothing filmed for 9.
Yeah, nothing filmed from 9, and now we have no old cast members guiding the new cast because that's
Chewie.
literally... Yeah, we've got Chewie.
R2, and C-3PO.
Yeah, and like... That's another thing, real quick. Mark Hamill and R2-D2 have one scene together. One scene together, and that's it. You don't see R2 anywhere near Luke. They were freaking friends forever.
The best of friends, like, they shared so many emotional moments when Luke first picked him up on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
and they grew together. That started Luke's adventure was getting R2.
And R2 was his droid in the X-Wing. Like, I just don't understand that part right there. I'm like, I don't think you know what you're doing here. Like,
No,
you know what I mean? Like, that relation right there is such a big thing. And like him not being with Luke at the end, all through Force Awakens and that the end, he comes back and all of this, but then have one scene with R2. R2 would have not left his side the rest of the movie.
I mean, are you gonna count a flashback scene as a scene?
No, I'm not counting that. I'm talking about in current timeline. One scene with him, R2 would have not left his side.
No, like R2 literally shut down because he was not with Luke.
Yeah,
and he's just gonna be like, "Oh, Luke's back." Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. Like,
I wish I could make you understand. And that's it. Like
now, what did you think? They didn't use Chewbacca hardly at all either. Like Chewbacca was. Like
Porg.
Like it was him and Porg in the ship when they fought on the salt land or salt planet.
And when he's trying to eat one.
And then when he ate one and then knocked in Luke's door. Those are really the only three Chewie parts we got. And with Han being killed off in the last movie, you would have thought that Rey and him would have been closer, that you would have seen him a little bit more. But I mean,
like it felt like they were kind of phasing him out as well. Like he's just the pilot, And like they mentioned, Han being gone. They show Chewie being sad, which I appreciate. But that was really as far as it got, other than him trying to eat the porg, and they're all like, which was funny. That was like that comedic moment was fine.
There was that, and like. When like he was asking, where are you from? And she's like, he said something like, nobody's from nowhere. And she's like, I'm from Jakku. And he's like, that's pretty much nowhere. Like, that part had me laughing. The pork part had me laughing. But
I'll even accept the part where he's like, reach out. And she like does that. And like he has the thing and like, he's like, do you feel it? It's like, yes.
I feel it.
He's like, that's the Force. like that was fine, but it was just... Okay, so we talked about the lightsaber moment. Just chunks it
off the cliff.
I'm like, what the crap is this?
That was your first lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like, I know you've made mistakes and everything like that, and you want to forget about the Jedi Order. But, I mean, to throw that, and for us to, like you said, wait 2 years for us to be able to see what he says. Like, we were like on the edge of our seats, and when it cut to black, we were just like, What's his reaction? What is he gonna do?
Yeah.
And then we get to the Last Jedi, and he just
and then walks on. Doesn't even say anything.
I'm just like, really? That's what the buildup was?
Not like, where did you find this? This was lost on Bespin. Where did you find this?
Did you find my hand while you were?
Yeah. Like it's all of these questions, and like I said this last night, The Force Awakens left a lot of questions, good questions.
Yeah.
Like, who is Snoke? What are these things? What is this going to happen? Who's Rey's parents? La 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 la. Where's Luke? What are they going to do? Blah 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 blah. All of this. And like I said last night, it was like that one kid that you see these like pictures of like exams or whatever, and like the kid just answers like dumb stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's what The Last Jedi felt like in a lot of places. Was like that kid in your class that just answers the worst and like quickest way, and that's where a lot of them felt like. It felt like a lot of these answers were answers we didn't want. Like they were not thought out. They were the easy answers. They weren't the hard answers.
Yeah, like I mean, do you really think that Rey's parents are nobodies?
Yeah, just a bunch of drunks. Like, it, in defense of that, it makes sense that she doesn't have to be born from, some kind of Skywalker or anything. But at the same time, it's like, that is a really bad payoff.
Because she's...
like
with her being so strong in the Force... Like, I mean, it would have made sense that her and Kylo are like brother or cousin or something, or out of the same bloodline. Something I did really like was at the end when you saw the kid and like he just pulls the broom into his hand and like it shows the ring that Rose gave him. like there was really cool parts in the movie, but then you had a lot of, like I said, the CG planet that was cringe-worthy.
It was like, okay, we've established that we're going to use practical effects in this, as much practical effect as we possibly can on this. But when we got to like the first space battle, like you look into the cockpits and it's like all CG, like the person's been like put into the CG plane. It just didn't look good. And then the CG planet, it's like, why don't I like this? And then you realize that it's all CGI.
Yeah.
And it's nothing is like, and along with that, like Finn and Rose's like mission to find the guy with the red flower thing on that. They find him and then never go after him because they find the other guy. Like this whole mission, this whole thing, all this big stuff and all this, and they don't even go get the guy that they were supposed to get.
Like, I was like, maybe this is the guy and he just lost his jacket or something in like a poker match or a heist. And like, nope, he turns out to be a douchebag.
Yeah, and Benicio del Toro did a really, like, I enjoyed that character, but...
Is that Rose?
No, that's the
traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I enjoyed his character and how he acted and everything, but it was just... like... Finn's and Poe's like whole arc for this movie was a waste of time.
Now, would you have rathered him have died instead of Rose saving him, like a send off? It wouldn't have done nothing to save.
Are you talking about Finn or
Finn?
I don't want any of them to die necessarily, but like it
wouldn't have done anything. Like I'm saying,
yeah,
they still would have, they wouldn't have found the way out or anything, and nobody was obviously coming from the distress beacon.
Yeah.
So they would have died of hunger.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it was just kind of, on that. Phasma, what a waste. What a waste. Like, don't even bring her back if you're just going to kill her off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was a dumb way. One of the forced humor parts, when he falls off in the lift and he bops her in the head and she falls down and then the thing falls away. I'm like, really? I was like, that's the best way that we could send out a freaking BA character. Like, Phasma was a great idea. Like, she was super cool.
It just poorly executed.
Another huge waste of a character for me, and I know you feel the same way, but Snoke.
Yeah, my God.
Killing Snoke off that way?
Like, I don't mind him dying. I don't mind all of that, but we've been building, as fans, this guy is as powerful or more powerful than the Emperor. Like, that is what we've been shown in this. Like, he literally created a force link between Rey and Kylo Ren and lied to both of them to make things happen. Like, he literally was manipulating people through the force. For him to be killed like he was just like, what is this?
Like, I know he wanted to see Kylo turn and he wanted to see Rey dead, but like when he's like, and he's about to strike down his worst or biggest enemy, and like you couldn't do anything to think that, oh wait, what are the Sith beliefs? The rule of two. There should be
one master, one apprentice,
one to have power and one to want it.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to kill the master. Like, you would have thought that would have
been in his mind. It just, we've been like, who is this guy? Like, is it Plagueis? Is it, Sidious and Reincarnate? Like, what's up with his face? It's all jacked up and all of this. And you have Andy Serkis doing this, like a great actor, done Smeagol and all this, have done Caesar from Planet of the Apes. And then it's just like,
after this, you're probably not going to get a mention. Like, you'll get mentions, but you won't ever find out who Snoke really was.
No, and I think that is just a waste.
I feel you.
It's just a waste. Now, we've dogged on it. What is your favorite part of the movie?
The fight scene right after Kylo kills Snoke.
Yeah,
with him
that
and
was
Rey
really, really cool.
fighting off. Like somebody on the group said that they were the Knights of Ren.
No
Way.
no. They're Imperial guards.
Like
yeah.
they're not Imperial guards. There's a special name for them because I found a pop figure with their names on it, and they're not Imperial guards.
But they're like Imperial guards.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And like that fight scene was freaking sweet.
Yeah.
I liked Yoda coming back, but I didn't like you
As
said,
far as they went with
like
that.
it would have been cool if it was like Yoda goes like back in the older movies when he's just helping Luke and like different people like with
Advice, wisdom.
yes,
sort
and that's
deal.
that's what Force Ghosts are supposed to be, not being able to call down lightning from the sky. Like, I mean, if you're
Is he Thor now?
he might be worthy, but what I don't understand is if they have that much power, why aren't they fighting with the Jedi to help take down Snoke and the First Order?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that was a
cool to see, but I didn't like how he was used.
yeah. I think they could have used him a little bit better. I did really enjoy that fight scene though. Like it was really well choreographed. They're definitely like more raw in their fighting styles. They're not as clunky as the original trilogy, and they're definitely not as well versed and trained as the first one. But it's very just kind of like you would see like a knight from like medieval time. That's more of like the style that I'm seeing from them. And then like the original trilogy was more kind of like fencing, and then the other one was just kind of like crazy awesome
Special effect.
Yeah, like it was awesome.
Like they might not have been the best movies, like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but they had some dope freaking lightsaber battles.
Revenge of the Sith has like the best ever. With General Hux, like I think, like you there could have been a lot more there.
Yeah.
Did have some interesting scenes. Like I think one of the most funny moments, like actual funny, did not like feel forced. that part. And then when Kylo Ren was like, "I'm going down there," and like he's like, "You don't need to go down there." Like he slams him up against the wall, and the guy that's in the seat is like, "Right away, sir." That was funny.
Like there could have been enough humor with those alone to be fine, but like when like. After the explosion or whatever, and Rey and Kylo was unconscious and Rey was gone, like you see him come in there and he's like, he sees Snoke's dead and he looks over at Kylo and he like pulls his blaster out and then Kylo wakes up and he goes, puts it away. I was like,
if I was him, if I was General Hux, I would be killing him. Like I would put a bullet in his head.
But if I saw him stirring like that too, I'd been like,
oh, yeah.
What is my bidding, my master?
You're the supreme overlord now, or, that sort of deal. With Mark Hamill, like, I think the coolest scene out of all of it, like, once you know everything that happened, is when he uses the Force projection to fight Kylo Ren. And, like, he even talks to Leia, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the first time, and that's interesting. The first time he's opened himself up to the Force, he's able to
do all that. That's how strong he
that.
was. Like, I was sitting there, I'm like when they were shooting him, I'm like, how is he going to dodge this? I was like, I was like, and then I saw him come out, and he goes, I'm like, I am so confused, but it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then you find out he's a projection.
Yeah, and like the whole fight, I'm just like, wow, that is really cool. Like Luke is freaking awesome.
Like, when he does his
and like he's like spinning around and everything. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, this is really cool. And Amy, she was like, I feel like there's an Obi-Wan thing fixing to happen here where you like, if you strike me down, and even says like, I'll be there, always to.
I'll be around every turn or whatever.
Yeah, that sort of deal. And then like Kylo like runs and goes through him. I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And then he like turns around and he's still there. I'm like, what the crap is going on? And then he's like, I'm like, oh.
And that's when you see him like floating in there, not doing that, of course. Like, floating and then.
Yeah, he like you see the sunset split, and it's reminiscent of the two moons of Tatooine. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I really enjoyed that. I really wish they would have changed it where Leia would have gone and Luke would have stayed there. And I know some people have said, "Oh well, he can come back." Like once you become part of the Force, you can't come back.
There's no coming back. Force Ghosts, yes, which apparently have just as much power as real life.
Yeah,
Force users.
even more. But like with Kylo Ren's like arc and everything, I thought it was really interesting to show why he went to the dark side as much as he did because Luke went after him. Like I was very surprised, and like he had a human moment where he was like this might be another Darth Vader that we're fixing to deal with here, and like he turned on his lightsaber and he was like, oh my god, what am I doing? And like before he could turn it off,
Kylo was awake.
Ben was awake, and like
Ben, yeah.
At that point he was still Ben. Like that's a big deal right there.
And I mean, now you have your Vader and you created him. Like
yeah.
He even
the thing that you were trying to avoid the most, you created it. And like that was big. That was good writing. That was really good writing.
I mean, it really like because fear leads to hate leads to anger, and of course,
and Luke had fear in his heart,
and he even said it multiple times that I failed you as a teacher and all that stuff, and like even it bled into the fight with him trying to, he apologized to Kylo, but by that time it's far too late, and because I know after The Force Awakens, I came up with the idea that Kylo didn't kill Han. Like, Han turned the lightsaber on himself so that his son has a chance of redemption. I think redemption's
gone.
Yeah.
Like, he's fully at the dark side now.
Because you saw him hesitate to kill his mother.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. And then I think after Snoke and everything, like, he saw the opportunity to become more powerful, and like it was definitely a Darth Vader Luke moment where he was asking Rey to join him and everything, which I thought was cool to see that that kind of
the dynamic.
Yeah, that duality right there. But what was interesting with Luke's fight, and I was like, why is he looking younger? Like his beard was darker. It was shaved and everything, and he was actually fighting with Anakin's lightsaber, the blue lightsaber, not the green one that he had. And at that point in time, that lightsaber had already broke because they were pulling it apart. So that should have been our first tip off that this wasn't real or whatever. But I really enjoyed that part. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. I liked the sacrifice at the beginning of the movie of the bomber and everything. Like that was an emotional part.
She was at Pensacon, and like we were going to try to get an interview, but because of this movie, she wasn't allowed to talk, which now I understand why. She has some killer music that she's listening to, but I mean, people are going to sacrifice. And when we talked about the medallion, they both had this medallion that came together to make a full one. And when her sister died, that's when Rose. And one thing that I do like about the Rose story is it shows that, like, I guess there's a message within the message that doesn't matter who you are, because she said all I talk to is pipes and everything like that. But it does show that in that universe, anybody can be a hero.
Yeah.
You have a son of two moisture farmers become the Jedi Master.
Well, technically the nephew of
I mean, technically he was in the son role. So I know he was the nephew.
I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
But yeah.
So let's finish it out with the whole Laura Dern, like Poe Dameron story. I thought it was just a very poor way of like moving the story along with her not telling everything. But the cool thing that came out of it was her driving the ship through all the other ones. Oh my god, that was awesome!
When you saw her turning around, and I was like, "What is she doing? There's no way she's firing on them."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, "The hyperdrive's they're like
activated.
It's just a ploy. Don't." And then she turned around, and they were like, "Move, get out of the way!" And she was just
boom. Like that
silence was super cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was one of the coolest looking and sounding moments, like in the whole movie. Like that will stay with me for the rest of my life because that was a really awesome thing to do.
Like we've said, guys, this is a movie you need to see. Yes, there were some parts in it that we thought could have been done a lot better, but like that moment and other moments, the Kylo Ren Rey fight, there were moments that, as Star Wars fans, that you need to see. And then you'll kind of see what we're talking about on the downside of things. But there's enough good in this movie to make it worth your $10 to $15, whatever you watch it on. It's worth it. Go see it. Support Lucasfilms, and I think once J.J. Abrams gets the 9th movie, I think we'll see more of what we saw from The Force Awakens.
Well, and like I know a lot of people are bashing this movie right now. I would not tell anybody, don't go watch this movie.
No.
I would tell them straight face, go watch this movie. I think you'll enjoy it.
If I saw Phantom Menace right now with how it was, I would still tell you to go see it because it's a Star Wars movie.
And like Robbie said, there's good things, there's bad things. It's still a Star Wars film, and when the day is over, like it's got, I think the good outweighs the bad.
I do too.
And when, like, I know a lot of fandoms, like they kind of like consume themselves, like the hatred and all of that kind of stuff. Like we're just critiquing what we saw, like and giving props to where there were awesome things because there were some really cool moments. I think like the Chewie and like Rey and the Millennium Falcon on that planet.
Oh my god!
Like that was awesome, and I loved the bombers. Like the bombers were a lot like the bombers that we had in World War II, where it had like the turret on the bottom and everything, and like
the drops.
Yeah, like that was so much different than your Y-wing bombers and everything that shoot protons. Like, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really cool way to like introduce something new into the world.
Like, I think that it was because of how everything has been going and the Rebels are so short on resources, I think they had to dive into like lower budget things instead of a Y-wing. They had to go with this, which is like the next best thing, which, like I said, aesthetically, it was pleasing to me. Like, I loved it.
I really liked that. That was a cool thing. So there you go, guys.
Let us know what you think about it at the comments below. I know we just popped back in from spoilers, but people who watched the unspoiler and the spoiler, let us know what you think, because this is great discussions actually going on the Nerd Cave page about what everybody's thought about the movie. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know, guys. Thanks for watching episode 237 of the Nerd Cave podcast. Each and every week we come to you with all the nerdy news that you need to know. If you want to get it early, all you have to do is go over to patreon.com/nerdcave, toss us a few dollars, mate Robbie, and get the podcast early. If you don't have any bucks to toss us, that's okay, because you can go over.
Throw us a dough.
Oh, Lord. You can go over to youtube.com/nerdcave network and check it day by day, segment by segment, until we put the whole thing up over on YouTube and podcast services around the world. I enjoyed this.
It was fun.
I enjoyed talking the movie.
That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
That and the Disney-Fox merger or takeover, whichever.
Whatever.
But it's a very enjoyable podcast, my friend.
Yes. If you enjoyed it, let us know. If you want to hear podcasts more like this, let us know in the comments below.
The condiments below.
The condiments below. Some of that mayonnaise.
I love ketchup.
I love ketchup. Again, everybody, don't miss out on our live show that's going to be this Thursday. It's going to be the best of 2017. I'm sure Star Wars is going to come up at some point in time.
Now, it's from 10 o'clock Central
time, yep. Until 6:30 is when the podcast is going to start. No telling how long the podcast is going to go.
I'm going to 6:30.
2 hours.
I'm going to say right around 8:30 Central Time.
Yeah.
Maybe even 9.
Something like that.
There's going to be 4 or 5 people talking on it.
4 or 5 people talking. We're going to be wrapping up the year. It will be our last Nerd Cave podcast of the year. We're going to be taking some time off. We're going to be
working on some new things that we think that you guys will like. We like to shake it up every now and
I
then.
like that shimmy you got together. Shimmy, shimmy, shaw, shimmy,
Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff. Let me see your thing.
There you go. But yeah, we're working on a lot of cool ideas. The live show is going to be really, really fun. We're working on some.
It's jam packed.
It's jam packed. PUBG. We got Mario Kart. We got
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I almost said
Strange.
Life is Strange. You know what I mean? Just going all over the gambit. But it is going to be awesome. And I hope to see everyone there.
Yes.
We're going to have some prizes, some giveaways, some reveals. Like we're going to be revealing things. Robbie's going to take his shirt off.
There's actually nothing there. Like this shirt.
It's going to just be another shirt. That's literally his skin. He's painted it on.
Yep.
But it's going to be a ton of fun. So call your boss. Be like, boss,
I can't come to work today.
I can't come to work. I'm sick. Like, you don't sound sick. I'm sick.
I'm sick.
So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't hear from us again, Merry Christmas, everybody. This has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week.